Do you believe that someone should be able to possess small amounts of hard drugs in their home and feel that they can call and ask for help without knowing that they may get arrested for doing so?
Should people feel like they can call and ask for help without getting arrested? Of course. That's not what this does. That has always been possible before decriminalization, and it's possible all over North America to call and ask for help, but only in one place in all of North America is it legal to use crack, heroin, meth on sky trains, in parks where children play, in hospitals where nurses now can't breastfeed their kids because they've inhaled meth fumes. Only in the wild and radical experiment of Trudeau and the NDP has this been possible, and the results are a nightmare.
The amendments would change those examples you mentioned, though. One of the things BC is attempting to do is put in treatment beds, but they've failed largely. They can't get enough nurses, they can't get enough facilities. What would you do differently to support provinces around treatment, and how would you ensure that the resources are there to do it properly?
The problem is that Trudeau and the NDP are spending all the money on radical activists and greedy, corrupt pharmaceutical companies, all of whom have profited off of this nightmare. And I would cut all of that. I'd stop funding the radical activists, bureaucrats, and pharmaceutical companies who are making a fortune and perpetuating their own industry. And I would put that money into real treatment and recovery so that we can detox, counsel, give group therapy, physical exercise, and bring our loved ones home drug-free.
Who are the radicals that you're describing?
Shame on the Canadian state for abandoning drug users to have to figure out how to get ourselves clean drugs.
You smoke crack, don't you?
Jerry Martin is a former drug addict. Now sober, he wants to open up his own brick and mortar shop to sell hard drugs, including heroin, cocaine, and meth.
It takes the extreme to get things done sometimes.
A Vancouver man who opened a store selling illicit drugs with the hope of saving lives has died from an overdose.
This phenomenon is referred to as the homeless industrial complex. The ecosystem of bureaucrats, NGOs, and corporations that claim to aid the marginalized, but actually do little beyond profiting off the perpetuation of homelessness, poverty, and addiction.
$5 billion a year, the cost of Vancouver's social safety net. A major focus, the flow of money to the downtown east side, with no accountability.
Remember, about 30 years ago, we had the first safe injection site here. And guess what? It was illegal. Just like it's illegal to give out safe drugs now.
The city's plan is to start this massive decampment tomorrow. You cannot remove every single person from the block from Hastings, and the city knows it. Stop the sweep!
Last November, the city ended a similar $320,000 contract with Bandu, claiming it wasn't focused on street cleaning.
Gulf's operations are funded by taxpayers, getting $200,000 from Vancouver Coastal Health in 2022.
Sometimes we have glitches, and guess what? It's you can't expect perfection all the time.
Safe consumption sites help. They help create safer communities.
50 women reported being sexually assaulted in the encampment. Police were pulling guns and weapons out of the tents.
Former BC Housing CEO Shane Ramsey broke conflict of interest rules by directing funds to nonprofit provider Atira Women's Resource Society, run by his spouse, Janice Abbott.
The opposition has blown it out of proportion to think that we've just handed out drugs to everybody for free. That is not the case.
The Drug User Liberation Front, a local activist group that keeps breaking the law to hand out free tested drugs because they believe it will save lives.
Yeah. What would you like? Take it to heroin? To heroin?
Like we're not under no kind of presumption that buying off the black market is a good thing, like all in all. If being that and saving lives means that I'm a criminal and I'm going to jail, that's just the way it is.
Drug policy analyst Karen Ward says losing the group will hurt the people it served.
I'm very concerned about the folks that are involved in it because they're not going to know what are they going to do? What are they going to do now? Where are they going to find some other source? It's not. They're going to be in a very.
Most of you that know my background know that I'm the former health minister. I was a supporter of the safe injection sites, so my record is clear.
They're trying to say safe supply is actually causing the problem instead of the solution to the problem. We know it's the solution to the problem.
That means they're people, not just throw
downtown Eastside is a troubled neighborhood where extreme poverty, drug use, and mental health issues overlap to devastating effect. As this officer was intimidating drug users and then Sarah Blythe started recording their confrontation.
Go back to doing drugs. See ya.
Officers need to have the highest of compassion. We can't take officers that have, anger issue on the block. It's not right. These folks are vulnerable.
Councillor Kash Heed among those who supports the motion and harm reduction in general.
For these people to have this NIMBY attitude and spread the propaganda that Richmond is going to turn into East Hastings Street is completely false.
One person detailed Councillor Kash Heed's history as a policy consultant with a pharmaceutical company, to which Heed responded with a threat of legal action.
The people responsible were so convinced that they were correct that several of them formed their own companies while in public office and while lobbying for safe supply. This includes our former provincial health officer, who formed an opioid company, his deputy, who formed an opioid vending machine company, the chief scientific officer of our major health funding organization, the Michael Smith Foundation, who also was an HIV/AIDS researcher, co-founded the opioid company with our PHO.
So hold on, I need to stop you because I'm having trouble believing this. They founded companies to supply opioids to safe supply?
Exactly.
All of the people that they're being funded by the NDP and Liberals to give out hard heroin-grade opioids and who have been advocating for this and profiting from this radical policy that no other place in all of North America is doing. So we need to cut off those radicals and fire the people, the NDP Liberal activists in the public health bureaucracy who have helped cause this mayhem and enabled Trudeau and Eby to bring in a policy that has killed 2,500 people in 1 year alone.